as I was thinking through, what we should or what I'd like to, engage in a conversation with you on, I came across your article and I think a associated post that you had on LinkedIn a couple of months back, and that's something that I think we've been discussing as well internally in terms of why and how a good relation between customer success and product teams is important, and how it impacts not just our organization, but also the way our customers have their experience and how it goes ahead for them as well towards their success, right? So it has a multifold effect. It doesn't necessarily impact just us or just them. It's all sort of connected. So I did go through read your article on Medium, and it's beautifully written with a lot of highlights on why it is important, how to get there, and what the alignment should look like. So I thought I'll bring that up to hear some more thoughts from you on that, in terms of where you stand in terms of that series that you started there, and what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so I think the product and CS relationship is so key for so many different reasons, and of course you can say that there's CS is one of those departments that needs to have relationships with every other department, not only for the customer's sake, but also for those departments' sake.
Yeah.
I think that's why the product in CS1 is just something I want to really highlight, because sometimes we're a little bit like frenemies. They have their own objectives and we have our own as well, and making sure that relationship is still healthy is just something that I think is so key, because you can really quickly see those CS teams that have good relationships with product, they're soaring. They're able to help their customers really well, improves their customer experience. It reduces stress because you're able to do more things in less time because you have that good relationship. And then those, I do consulting on the side, and sometimes what I see is that those who don't have a good relationship with products a little bit more contentious, and they have to walk on eggshells, and that's not where we want our teams to be.
Yeah, no, and we've seen that firsthand on the sort of impact it has in terms of your conversations or communications with your customer as well. Because if in line with what you've written as well, right, that if you have good relation with your product teams, one, you have a good understanding of the existing product as well as what your roadmap looks like, the vision that the company has towards where you're evolving or developing. And also see if you can map it to your customers and if the needs are being mapped there, or are you just picking up ad hoc requests that customers are making? Because a lot of times, I'm sure you've seen this as well, that customers do have wish lists. They have their own ideas about what is a good fit or what is a good enhancement or a feature in a product. And that's not always aligning with what the product roadmap looks like or what vision the company has. And that's where it causes a lot of a problem for everyone, right? Because the CS is now bringing in requests which don't align with the vision. The product team is fighting that back. You're losing customers because you're not able to communicate effectively. And all in all, everyone's unhappy if you don't have that going well for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think this is where it's really good, especially for teams who are a little bit more on the contentious side, not as friendly just yet, and still building that relationship. To just remember that you guys are on the same team.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you want to have customers that love you. You want customers coming back, and the product team wants that as well, and the customer success team also wants that. So I think always first reminding you guys of that first, and then also two, reminding ourselves that we're actually both storytellers.
Yeah.
And the reason why something is on the roadmap versus not on the roadmap, or the reason why this customer wants something or doesn't want something, or what's on their wish list, is because we're all trying to tell a story. And we're all trying to tell essentially the customer experience story, the product experience story, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And as a storyteller, we must make sure that whenever we want to add something new, like a new feature, a new button, a new anything, we need to make sure it works with the story, and that's why that product CS relationship is so strong, because if you guys are telling the same story, it makes it so much easier to have these conversations, versus if you guys are trying to tell two different stories. Like if product says, I want to make everything on our website purple, but CS wants to make everything on the website yellow,
Yeah,
like it's going to be really, really tough.
it is going to be tough. Yes. And so, for teams who don't have a working relationship or a great relationship, or they're not in a great place today, any tips from your end, to see how you can get started before you reach that sweet spot?
Oh yeah, I think three main things. One, get a one-on-one with your product team.
Yeah.
As soon as possible, and
Yeah.
make that like a working one-on-one. What I mean by that is like review the roadmap, understand, ask questions, and use that time to just really just understand. Ask as many questions as you want. They can go into your pipeline being like, hey, like what's with this school? What's happening with this? Why haven't they onboarded yet?
Yeah.
What's going on? It seems like they had really great usage and then it dropped. What happened? Like let each other ask different questions. So I think that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is actually do like a coffee chat. Do something that isn't a working one-on-one, but it's still one-on-one. Get to know them personally. Have really developed that rapport. And I think that's what customer success folks are really good at.
Yeah. True.
And I think three, and I think this is also really important, is get in front of the other teams. So bring product onto customer calls, introduce them, and have them ask questions to the customers, and have them hear it directly from the customer.
Yeah.
And that also goes the other way around. Engineers often push back to products saying like, hey, I don't think that will work or whatever. Make sure that the customer success team better understands engineers and where they're coming from and why they are bringing up the things that they are bringing up. Because again, we're all on the same team.
Those are great tips, and I agree. And I think we're doing at least two of the three, with the coffee chats being virtual because of the current situation. But yeah, no, and that's a great point there. I mean, some of these relationships, like you said, customer success folks build these relationships day in, day out, and they definitely help in the long term. At least to get you a hearing, right? The product guy is not going to dismiss it straight away. He's going to at least give you a thought or listen to what you're saying before he dismisses it, or counters, or at least justifies why it will or won't work. Agreed.
Yeah, and I also think like when someone says no, and understand why. Don't be like, oh, the product guy said no, and therefore like we hate product. No, definitely not that. You want to make sure you understand why they're saying no. Is it a no, not now? Is it no, it doesn't fit with the story, and maybe we need to have a discussion about that story?
Yeah.
Is it no because I don't understand this? Is it no because I don't think that's actually a problem? Like understanding what's going on there is going to be just so key, because it'll also help you as a customer success person understand what you need to do and what you need to highlight. So, understandably, sometimes products like, well, I haven't heard this as a problem. Why should we have a solution for it? Yeah. And customer success is like, oh, right. Like I haven't told, it's been a problem. I just never told you. Yeah. And like, that's why it's just so important to have that constant communication between the two. And then the second thing I also want to mention is this idea of diving deeper. And this is actually what we should do with products should do with us, but we should also do it with our customers. Yeah. So understanding like, hey, you want to make this button blue. Tell me more about why blue. Tell me more about how it contrasts better with the blackface or whatever it is. So you better understand what was the actual problem. Because sometimes what we see as customer success folks, and as I manage my teams and stuff like that, you see that we hear a customer request, we hear the wish list, and we're like, this is their wish list. This is exactly what they want, what they need to keep them, without realizing that one, we need to prioritize the wish list. I better understand what is this wish list actually trying to achieve for this customer? How is it playing into their success? Yeah. And what challenges are currently in place that we can maybe use the wish list and build those things to fix, but maybe there's actually a much better solution. And being able to have those tough conversations and dive deeper about like, well, why do you think that is? Well, what do you think if we did this? And then just having that open conversation makes it so much easier, so that when you do bring that wish list to product, you can be like, this is their wish list and it's actually going to solve these core issues. Yeah. And this is going to be the impact.
No, absolutely. And I think that's actually something that we've also experienced while having these conversations, without having to just say okay and okay to everything, and just make sure that you're miscommunicating to the product, right? Because you don't understand why the customer needs it, and you're pushing for it internally and battling it and getting disappointed when it doesn't happen. without actually understanding why do the customer need it. Is there already something else on the platform or the solution that can cater to the same need that they have, and they're probably just ignorant about it, right? They don't know about that existing. Can you help them understand that, hey, you want to achieve this, this is your ask, here's a way you can achieve it alternately, is that okay with you? So it just saves that entire need of building something which probably is not going to be used by anyone.
Exactly. It's going to save not only you time, but the product team time, the engineers time. It's this huge snowball effect.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I agree. And I think we've probably in Smart Carrot, we have some of these covered, but for all the other folks who are going to listen in as well, these are great pointers to help understand why it is important to have this relationship, and the second aspect to it, how you can cultivate it, right? How you can make sure you're aligning your objectives as a organization, right? And I think we've probably heard a lot of people say this, and it's not as much in practice, that customer success is not necessarily just a function, right? It's a mindset where all of us need to be thinking about the customers and the outcomes they're hoping to get. And if we start aligning towards that, I think there's going to be lesser friction and more outcomes that all of us can achieve together.
Oh, completely agree. I think customer success is definitely a mindset that will help unlock a lot of business opportunity. And something I love to say is that you don't have to have the title of customer success to be customer success. You don't even need you need to even be customer facing. You can be a designer, engineer, a product manager, a data person, and still be customer success. You just have to have that mindset and thinking about what will deliver the most value, what will build this story to deliver the most value for our customers.
No, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Any last thoughts, Jen, before we wrap this up?
I think the last thought is that, just like customer success, building that product and CS relationship isn't a one and done. It is something that you do constantly work on over time. It's not I just had a coffee chat, we're all good, everything's fine, I understand the roadmap today. It's making sure that you have something, building that habit, both on the customer success side and the product side. The product people also need to build a habit of, okay, like why would the customer think this? What's the customer challenge right now? Instead of, why is CS telling me this? Like building that habit of, building this relationship and constantly working on this relationship is the key. So also wanted to share that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Completely agree. I mean, that's something like, I spoke to Jennifer today and I don't see her for another 2 years. And then I'm assuming everything's still going to be okay because we had that one coffee once, right? I mean, it doesn't work that way for sure. Yeah, it's an ongoing process, and it needs to be, just the way we don't let our customers go. You don't really, speak with them once and then forget about it. It's an ongoing thing. It needs to be, I think, internal customers is what we could call them, right? I mean, we are customers of each other's needs and requirements. So I think that's a great way to put that in. Yeah, that's a great thought.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me.
No, thanks so much, Jennifer. We'll reconnect and look forward to talking more about other areas within the customer success ecosystem.